Did we get a light for our camera? Okay, it doesn't want to be this side. Let's move our camera. Let's sit this side again. Looks like we're only gonna have to get our light angle at this side. That's where we're at with lunch times with Ribea. Someone says, give us some Delian Smith that used to stand up. Everybody will love our hairstyle. We love it also. It's very nice. Love and appreciate. Very good. And we are doing lunchtime. We are having a kind of a stir fry, right? Chicken and carrots and some nice mamaki rice and potato also. It looks like nice herbs that Doreen has cooked last night. He's very good in the kitchen. And we cooked our stir fry. We cooked a very nice plate of food. What pepper? There's pepper in there is also, it's very nice. There's green pepper in, it's very nice. There's red peppers with carrots and with potatoes. It's very, very nice. And the flavor is good. The flavor is peppery, but it's herb. I don't know what the kind of a nice herb it is. It looks like, it's a very nice herb. Oh, I love the taste of it. And what? And also added to it was broccoli. There's broccoli also in. It's tasting very lovely. It's very peppery and it's very herb. You can taste the mixed herb. The mixed herb, green mixed herb spice. Not the mixed herbs. You know, some people make mixed herbs with the spices. Other people make mixed herbs with the plant. With the basil plant and with the bay leaf plant. That mixed herb. The green. Other people spice it and grate it down into a spice. But the fresh mixed herbs are very nice. Another thing that is also nice, let me just another thing that is also nice that we also love to eat because it's winter. We love our winter foods. And with our winter foods, we love what our winter foods. We used to love to eat our vegetations, right? So every winter we would eat the whole week a good pot of, someone said, let Ribea Suma put her, what's the pot's name, on my Russell Hobbs pot. Someone went to go and buy a pot. Oh, my husband bought me that for my birthday, and let that also be on Ribea's live stream photo, Rosan Kamali's birthday pot. So I have a pot, and Rosan posted it on a page while after I had already had a pot on a cake photo, right? Now, actually, that pot is a Russell Hobbs pot. That's good. A Russell Hobbs pot, right? And the pot is actually a slow cooker, a steamer, and I have about 3 of those Russell Hobbs slow cooker pots. But this one pot is very nice. In that pot, not 3 Russell Hobbs, but I mean 3 pots. One is a Russell Hobbs, other is different brands. I really don't know. And I really am not about pot brands. And I just want the pot to cook a plate of food in, and that's just how I am. And if I really now have money and people say, and people educate and say, oh, Ribea, that's actually a very good brand in the pot. That's all they used to educate in South Africa. And they're like, oh, sounds nice. It sounds fine. It sounds nice. Don't worry about the battery. Battery of phone is fine. It sounds nice. It sounds fine. And then we learn that the pot, actually, any pot is fine. Thank you. Any pot is fine. All of these fancy, this is how the pot must look like this, it must look like that. You know, it's really not on. I'm very, very, very fine with everything. And I'm in my house, that's the thing. I'm not very much all pretentious, right? That's fine to pretend. But I'm not very much all pretentious. And my child, Kiara, is not pretentious. Kiara is a very, very kind person. She's very calm. She's very firm and direct. And she's very not pretentious. Oh. And she just enjoys the finer things of how it is, you know? And she just appreciates not to be disrespected. And she's like a mother, yes. We appreciate not to be abused. We appreciate not to be disrespected. Because we're really not aggressive. And baby has given a kick, yes. And I've been watching television the whole time now. Some of these bloggers say, let Ribea say what's on television. Or what is watching on television. They say some of these people are gonna wanna be on social media and they're not gonna know what to do. Sometimes the world can be very abusive and aggressive. And what do you tell the world on that day? We teach that we are not in this world to be against one another, and those who teach that you allow yourself to educate that the world is not against one another. And Mama Anna's children teach that when Ribea argues because Malvina is disrespectful in the house, then Antoinette explains the situation that there's no need for no one to be against the other. That everyone should just be firm to say that everyone's protection is important and for everyone to be fine. And if our generation can't educate that, then they get themselves in that is they rather step away from arguing to be against the other, or they find something else that they find themselves busy doing, rather than teaching that the world is not actually against the other. Because when you listen to the whole situation into what has happened in the world, then we learn that it was never that the world is the one against the other. It was actually a lot of things that was differently communicated in our generation, and we call it miscommunications and misinterpretations and mismanipulations and misunderstanding, and they're all misses, and they all find themselves in different lifestyle choices. But it was that was differently communicated to some people, and some people ran with the story about it. A whole lot of things was differently communicated. A whole lot of the world today looks like a whole lot of people got pregnant, and they actually got pregnant to abuse the one the other. The world looks like people in the world else has decided to give birth to a child so that another child can, the Bible saying, the inheritor was Sarah said to the husband, go and have a child with that one. And the husband went and had a child with Hannah. I gave that scripture to South Africa when I was there in primary school, at the primary school of Vader, right? And the husband said, give the child to, the wife says, have a child with Hannah. And Abraham said, and Abraham gave, no, Hannah Penina was a different scripture, but Sarah said, he gave her husband an instruction to have a child. And then Sarah did not want the child anymore. And then Sarah had her own child. And when Sarah had a child, Sarah said to Abraham, now this child of you must go away. These years and days in the world, women have a child. And because the world is in war, and because it's been miscommunicated, Africa is having to be bombed down, and African children are being killed out so that someone else in another country can have a very amazing time. And they chased Ribea Elise around the world about the story, and they made Ribea Elise look like the same now, like them, that is now having a good time in the world, while someone else in a different country are being abused. And they all are educating that and bragging because a baby is born, but another baby has to be killed so that that baby that was born can now go and stay in Africa and now go and inherit Africa about it. And the whole world knows the story, and they're now stirring so much argument in Africa because someone else wants to inherit Africa. And now the African children must now fight with one another. There was now another war that came up that is now Ethiopia, and that is now finding themselves in the same war argument with those young boys that now has to go and be in war about it because another person in the world wants to have a good time about it. And when I say another person, I don't say to my seat. I'm explaining a situation. So when I explain it, everyone needs to also allow themselves to listen, right, to what is happening, because now other people has now been given the instruction, your children are going to inherit Africa, and now the whole team about people are stirring Africa so that Africa is now having to kill, young boys in Africa is now having to kill themselves out about it. And in that time, you tell that generation of people, y'all who wants to inherit land, y'all go and work somewhere else about it, and you tell the African people, don't harm one another about it, because that situation started long, many years ago, and we are not uninformed of it. All of these arguments and wars that are starting in Africa is because someone else wants to inherit Africa. African American children are very much growing up with the bloggers and children and babies about it. Are they involved in it? We really don't know. But they have intermarried with the European, and now the African people must kill themselves out about it. Dubai has built his Dubai up, and he moved in by Morocco with Cape Town, South Africa. The whole of South Africa, of Africans have moved to South Africa because they are not allowed that process of killing the Africans out so that someone else can come and inherit the land. The Africans are not played by it, and they are very firm in our generation about it. Now, every one of y'all prepared yourself to inherit the Africa about it, and you get y'all out of those mindsets. And everyone who had a discussion in it, these babies are born, and they're inheriting, everyone is inheriting their own land, and no one deprives the African people of their lands. The African people is really firm, they don't play about it. I have said the other day on my social media page, these pregnancies are very sensitive, and those babies are traveling into the countries to go and find out what's the circumstances, because those African babies are not being played by it. South Africa says South Africa is stirred by the African people, because in South Africa, in the colored community, is a whole lot of aggression there that is happening in Africa that has got to do with the colored people of South Africa and with the Dubai discussions. And those Africans have moved into South Africa to teach those colored people that they are not going to miss in their Africa about it. The whole world is stirred by those arguments and those aggressions. Someone said the other day, Ribea, the people are angry here in South Africa. They are fighting because who knows why they are fighting? It's clear why they are fighting. The news reports it to every country on a daily basis. For those people who find themselves in those aggressions and in those arguments, it's being reported on the news what is happening in this world.